Oh shit!
That just happened.
So we're back. Skillz, I think, was about to
Oh yeah, I was gonna tell a story.
tell us a little story. What's going on, bro?
I was telling Shiloh about my story about the time my, I guess you could call it, mini-me burned. Look,
Your mini burned.
yes.
Wow. All right.
Okay,
I gotta
look.
hear this story.
Look.
Go for it.
First of all, okay, I want to explain that when I mean mini-me, yes, I really mean mini-me, my external organ. And this is a story.
Your penis.
Yes, okay,
Cock.
yes.
Johnson.
Yeah, that guy.
Tallywhacker.
Pedro. Anyway, that guy.
Your
right?
third elbow.
Well, whatever you want to call it. Ready? Okay, so there.
Dick.
Well, duh. It ain't fucking anus, bitch.
Mandingo.
Close, but doesn't reach full potential.
Your Bushman hunter.
Savage warrior, maybe Aztec.
Anaconda.
Nah, more about boa constrictor. But anyway, so this is one night I went to the club. I met this Puerto Rican girl who, you know, I was pretty saucy, meaning that I had drank a lot. And she pulled me to dance. I figured nothing more than it. We started dancing, in which she started grinding. And in my head, I'm like, oh, she's down. And when I mean by down, that means she wants to fuck. But I played it conservative and I resisted. So I didn't touch her. I just moved my hips and my pelvis and my legs. And I followed her. Well, by the end of the night, she's like, I want to go home with you.
She wants to go home with you.
So I was like, okay, shit's good. So I took her back to my place.
Take me back to your place, Poppy.
Yes. That's exactly how she sounded. Not really. Anyway. No. She said, aye. Like a man, then I'd be really fucked up. Hell no. Anyway, so we went back to my place, right? You know what I mean? I turned on some music. I asked her if she was hungry. She was like, yeah. So I made her something to eat. You know what I mean? We both ate. We both sat on my bed. And we ate. So she was there. She was chilling. She felt like nothing was wrong. I mean, I told her, like, look, I drank a lot. I ate a lot. I'm ready to go to sleep. I just want to know if you're going to do the dishes. She's like, yeah, I'll do them in the morning. I was like, for real, you would?
That is some man shit. Yeah, bro, you gonna do the dishes?
She's like, yeah, I will in the morning. I was like, oh, so you're going to spend the night? You don't want me to drop you off at home? She's like, nah, I'm good here. I was like, all right, cool. But I had a queen-size bed, so I guess she was comfortable.
Was it a Sealy certified mattress?
It wasn't Sealy's because I don't know what Sealy's is, but I know it was like...
It's Posturepedic?
No, it wasn't no Tempur-Pedic, but it was just a fucking mattress that was queen size and which I slept on, okay? Anyway, so I lay down to sleep. I was drunk. I was full. I was sleeping. And then I feel a hand rub on my thigh. And I'm like, nah, you know what I mean? This ain't the right time, you know, I'm fucked up. And because, you know, I'm always conscious of what if I get pregnant when I'm drunk. So I keep that in mind. And then she just straight up went for my thigh and grabbed my shit. And she goes, this is what I came here for, and this is what I'm going to get. And I looked at her, and she looked at me as she wrenched her neck around. And I saw her eyes, and I was like, is that really what you want? She's like, yes. I was like, all right, cool. So I submitted to her demands. So there we were.
I just love the way how he says it.
So I was
he
there.
He sounded like so sexy and slow, too, right?
So I was there. All right. And she grabbed it, and then she rolled over, and she faced me. And I was like, man, you told me in the club all you wanted to do was cuddle. She was like, well, I lied. I just wanted to make sure that you weren't here with anybody else. I was like, well, you see my place. Ain't nobody else. Ain't no pictures. Ain't no nothing. So she started kissing me. So I started kissing back. And there we were. Then one thing led to another. I started undressing her. She helped me undress myself. And then, well, you know, we did grown-up activities.
You fucked.
Extracurricular. Well, yeah, pretty much.
You rocked the Casbah.
Well, actually, I think I did it too much.
You banged her like Bangladesh.
No, I banged her harder than that because when I was pumping and I was thrusting and I came out one time, you know what I mean? Like, you know how you just get overexcited inside it and then you think that you just quite a bit longer than what you think you are and it pops out and you're like,
you were
fuck.
fucking her kneecap.
So, anyway, no. So, when I was thrusting and in my mind I thought I was longer than when I was starting and my shit popped out, I noticed a little bit of blood. And I asked her, was she a virgin? She was like, no. I was like, well, do you know you're bleeding? She's like, I had my period 3 days ago.
Sir, you have gonorrhea.
And then I was like, okay, well, what the fuck is this? And she was like, who gives a fuck? So she wiped it up with her hand, and I was like, okay, everything's not good. So I put it back in. Bam,
That's
bam,
a
bam.
nasty bitch.
Right? You know what I mean? So I put it back in, and there it was, fucking it. And I see her eyes, and her eyes are rolling back, and she's biting her lip. And
Was she cockeyed?
She wasn't cockeyed, but she was lazy-eyed. It kind of fucked me up, though.
Oh, damn.
You know what I mean? My stroke don't go right when I see fucking, you know, she looking at my radio and she looking at me at the same time. You feel me? So there I was, right? I'm thrusting and I'm fucking. Then I switch positions and I throw that leg up and I put her left leg down and I pin her down and I press her ass. You know what I mean? And she loving all this shit. But the whole time, like, I couldn't feel what I'm used to feeling. Like, I need something to caress my guy.
Oh, God.
And I was like, this shit ain't gonna work. Like, I ain't gonna get my nut. I'm just gonna fuck you till the sun comes up. So, what I was like, oh, boom. She caught her third nut. She was like, are you done? And I was like, the fuck you mean I'm done? No. It's like, I haven't even got one. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, bitch, have you seen me pull this condom off? No, it's been inside you the whole time. She's like, I don't know what to do. I was like, tell me straight up, are you clean? She's like, yeah, I'm clean. I was like, can I do it raw? She was like, you know what? Just for you, yeah.
Ew.
So,
raw dog.
Right. So I take off the condom, and I'm hitting it, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm in that bitch like a new motherfucking kid at a candy store, like, woo, sprinkles and sparkles and whatever the fuck candy fucking fat kids like in candy stores and shit. And I'm like, chocolate, and I'm like, yeah. And I'm in that bitch, and I'm grabbing titties, and I'm kissing her at the same time. I'm pulling her hair. I got her in the fucking my Maspro position. I didn't hit her with my position yet, just the, you know, strong arm position. But I get grabbing shoulders, I'm thrusting and everything like that. And then I'm realizing, like, fuck, man, shit ain't happening. Like, I'm hard, but it's just not coming up. What the fuck am I do? So I was like, hey, let me get that. And she's like, get what? It's like, let me get that. And I pulled down and I rubbed my dick head around her ass hole. And she was like, I've never tried it. I was like, well, I'll be careful. She's like, nah, you too big for that shit. Nah, fuck that. And I was like, come on, man. I was like, look, I'll be gentle, I promise. She's like, you know, honestly, I wouldn't do this for nobody else, but I feel comfortable with you. But if you go deep and you go hard, I swear to God, I'm going to roll over and I'm going to punch you in the face. And I was like, girl, you ain't got to worry about that. So she laid on her stomach.
Punch him in the face.
Right? So she laid on her stomach, right? And I got on top of her and her legs were closed and everything like that. You know what I mean? I dipped back into her pussy to make sure my shit was wet. And then I slowly started to penetrate. And all you heard was the little ahs and blah blahs. But I mean, like, I ain't even got the dickhead in yet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, bitch, you full of shit right now. You know what I mean? And then I pulled it out and I started using my fingers and I started stretching it every which way, you know, in north, south, east, and west. And then, you know what I mean, I put my shit back in her pussy and I put it back. You know what I mean, I started going for her ass. But at the same time I was going for her ass, I was rubbing her pussy and I was rubbing her clit. So it would distract her. And bam, after about, I would say a good 4 minutes, I was finally in there. bam, deep stroke, woo. And at that time, since I'm raw at that time, you know what I mean, caressed me really nice. And I was like, shit, this is what I'm talking about. So I would say about no more than 8 minutes later, I'm hitting. She's screaming. I was like, do you want me to pull it out? She's like, no, keep going, because I'm still rubbing the clit. Bam, she comes again. Then, boom, I come.
Donkey punched her.
No. I was like, whoa. I come, right? And I'm in there, and I'm paralyzed right now. Like, I can't move. I'm in the asshole. I'm like, I couldn't pull it out, but this ain't the pussy, so I don't give a fuck. So I'm like, And then I finally grabbed the string, because when I was pulling out, I was so sensitive. My fucking body was shaking. And I'm like, oh, shit. And then finally I get out, right? And I'm like, whoo. And she was like, I've never done that before, and it felt good. But I think it felt good with you. And I was like, all right, then. And she was like, all right, well, I'm going to go take a shower. I was like, shit, go take a shower. I don't give a fuck. I got brand new towels up in there. You know, I bought them 2 days before. So she took a shower, and she came back, and she cuddled with me. Well, 3 days later, I woke up, you know what I mean? I guess I had some good sleep, because my guy was wide awake. He was like, bing! And I'm like, damn, hold up, you know what I'm saying? I got to go pee and shit. So I want to go pee, but, you know, you can't actually push him down. So I did like the Shawn Michaels, you know what I mean? Like, you got to lean to one side. And I started peeing like that, but when I was peeing, it was burning. And in my mind, I'm like, this fucking bitch burnt the shit out of me, you know what I mean? I'm fucking mad. I'm like, what the fuck's her name? But my rule is, I don't want to know a female's name. So I'm like, man, I'm fucking fucked. So I go to the doctor, and I was like, doc, you know what I mean? Help me, please, because something's burning while I'm pissing, and I don't know what it is. And he was like, well, it could be one or two things. And I was like, well, what it is? He's like, well, you can have an infection, or it's just psychological, and you're just making it up. And I was like, I ain't making this shit up, doc. Like, the motherfucker burns when I pee. Like, I pee, I stop, I pee again, it still burns. You know what I mean? Like, I can't flush it out. He was like, okay, well, set up another exam 5 fucking days later, and we'll see what happens. So I go in 5 days later, you know what I mean? I'm still pissing and shit. You know what I mean? I'm fucking mad as hell. And I'm crying, because now it really burns. So I go in his office. And he was like, oh, Mr. Skillz, how you doing, sir? And I was like, oh, I'm doing fine, sir. How you doing? He was like, all right, well, today's the big day. You ready? I was like, yeah. So he tells me, he's like, all right, pull down your pants. And I'm like, well, I ain't like that. He was like, no, it's for the observation. And I'm like, oh, okay, sir. Stupid. So I put it down, and he grabs my shit with his left hand, right? And I was like, but with a firm grip, and I'm like, sir, aren't you supposed to, like, tell me exactly what's about to happen? He's like, oh, well, since you being in the career field that you are right now, I thought you would be used to this. He's like, well, I'm going to insert this too. It looks like a Q-tip, but it has a camera at the tip. And it just lets me see inside. And I'm like, oh, shit. I was like, is that going to hurt? He goes, yeah, pretty much. I was like, all right, well, I want to make sure that I'm good, so I have to do anything. So he said, inserts the camera, Q-tip like, and he's pushing up, and I'm over there like, oh, fuck, this is fucking bullshit. This is the worst punishment that I like. This is cruel and unusual punishment. I know my rights. You can't be doing this shit. And then he goes, look right here on the screen. This is the problem. And I look on the screen. My eyes are watering. I can't fucking see. I'm like, well, what is it? He goes, you see that white speck? And I'm like, white speck? And in my mind, I'm like, oh shit, I have gonorrhea, syphilis, some shit. Syphilis, that's back. But herpes, you know what I mean? Something dramatic. And I'm like, doc, please don't tell me. Just, please don't tell me what the fuck it is. I'd rather